Have you ever pondered the nature of a sole proprietorship? This type of business structure is where one single individual both owns and runs the business. Take note, in a sole proprietorship, there's no legal difference between the owner and the business. The owner takes home all the profits and carries the burden of all the losses. Now, let's delve into the merits of a sole proprietorship. First, it's easy to start. The setup process is straightforward and demands minimal formalities. Second, the owner enjoys direct control over decision-making and operations, allowing for swift and efficient decisions. Thirdly, sole proprietors have the flexibility to adapt to market changes and make decisions without having to consult partners or board members. Lastly, many jurisdictions offer less complex tax structures for sole proprietors, with income reported on the owner's personal tax return. However, there are also demerits to consider. The owner has unlimited liability for all business obligations and debts, which means personal assets could be at risk. Sole proprietors may also struggle to raise capital as they are solely reliant on personal savings or loans. The owner's skills and knowledge may be limited, which could impact the business's ability to excel in certain areas. Lastly, the business is heavily dependent on the owner, so its continuity may be at risk if the owner is incapacitated or passes away. Now, let's consider the key features of a sole proprietorship. First, it's characterized by single ownership. Second, the owner has complete autonomy in making business decisions. Third, the owner has unlimited liability for all business obligations and debts. Fourth, the business income is taxed as part of the owner's personal income. Lastly, sole proprietorships require minimal legal and regulatory formalities for formation and operation. Now, let's take a brief detour to examine Hindu undivided family business. This is a traditional form of business structure recognized under Hindu law in India. An HUF consists of a family of individuals who are lineally descended from a common ancestor, including their wives and unmarried daughters. The property owned by the HUF is considered joint family property, and the business carried on by the HUF is managed by the Karta, who is typically the eldest male member of the family. In conclusion, a sole proprietorship is a simple and flexible business structure that offers many advantages. However, it also comes with significant risks, including unlimited liability and potential challenges raising capital. It's essential to weigh these pros and cons before deciding if a sole proprietorship is the right business structure for you.
Have you ever pondered the merits and demerits of a Hindu undivided family business, also known as an HUF business? If so, you're in luck, as today we're delving into the intricacies of this unique business model. Starting with the merits, an HUF business offers a sense of continuity. No matter how the members change over time, the business marches on. This structure also provides tax benefits under Indian law, with separate income tax exemption limits. Moreover, the involvement and support from family members can add stability to the business. Lastly, the liability of the members, or co-parceners, is only up to their share in the HUF property, providing a safety net of limited liability. However, there are also demerits to consider. The business manager, known as the Karta, may experience limited control, as they may have to consult other co-parceners on certain matters. This structure can also lead to succession issues, with potential disputes arising over the partition of HUF property or the selection of a new Karta. Lastly, the joint ownership structure may pose challenges in raising capital and expanding the business. In terms of features, the HUF business has a unique structure. The property and assets owned by the HUF are considered joint family property. The business is managed by the Karta, who represents the HUF in all business matters. The members of the CHUF are co-owners of the family property and the business. Additionally, HUFs have separate tax liabilities and enjoy specific tax benefits under Indian tax laws. Lastly, HUF property can be partitioned among its members, and new HUFs can be formed upon such partition. Now, how does an HUF business differentiate from a sole proprietorship? In terms of ownership, a sole proprietorship is owned and managed by a single individual, while an HUF business is jointly owned by the members of a Hindu undivided family. The liability in a sole proprietorship is unlimited for business obligations, whereas in an HUF business, The liability of co-parceners is limited to their respective shares in the UF property. In terms of control, a sole proprietor has complete autonomy, while the management of an HF business may involve consultation among co-parceners. Regarding taxation, business income in a sole proprietorship is taxed as part of the owner's personal income, while HUFs are taxed separately as a distinct entity under Indian tax laws. Lastly, while a sole proprietorship is based on individual ownership, an HUF business is based on the joint family structure. In conclusion, both sole proprietorship and HUF business have their respective merits and demerits. The choice between the two depends on factors such as individual ownership preferences, family traditions, asset management, and taxation considerations. Each business structure offers unique features and considerations to be weighed against the needs and goals of the business owner or the HUF family members.